Majo John Madden from my camper van in the Boca del Rio affluent area south of Veracruz at about 5 in the morning. Now, I have a policy these days of I try not to shoot videos in low light circumstances because they're not visually very good. But I'm going to violate that tonight, and I think it's for a pretty good reason. It's actually a pretty good metaphor for what I'm going to talk about. A month ago when I had money, I'd gotten my monthly check. I got some batteries for my two best flashlights, and I had a lot of light in the van. Over the course of the last month, a lot because I'll fall asleep with one or the other one or both of them on. They're real low battery right now, and they won't give much light. So my camera right now does a much better job of looking out. It can see that taxi coming down the street. It sees the lights out there well. Whereas if I try to focus on me in the darkened van, there's not much. Well, where that's a really good metaphor is what I'm discovering is that in my 4 years of having woken up, I've gotten really clear about seeing the outside world and seeing my connections with the outside world, knowing that I'm one with everything. But there are still some pretty significant gaps in my understanding of myself. So it's good that I'm videotaping the outside more than me. The most powerful wounding I had as a child, well, there was lots. There was sex abuse, there was alcoholism in the family, there was lots. But a central one was that I was raised by an Irish Catholic mother who had been born in 1913 and was, like the Irish Catholic women, of working class women of the day, pretty seriously non-touch, prudish. That's what the Catholic Church was like back then, through especially the nuns, even more than the priests. Didn't touch us children, and was clearly frigid with my dad. I was born 9 years into the marriage. I was the little prince, the miracle baby. Still did not get touched, and still there were huge gaps in my mom's approval for me. There are two basic messages for me where you're the prince, you could do anything you want, and you are a huge and ongoing disappointment to me. I did not go on to be a priest, and then even more importantly, did not go on to be a doctor, and only got a Ph.D. in psychology. And it took her till my 40s to get over judging and being disappointed with me about that. Ironically, in her very late years, in her 80s, she became super clingy, really, really wanted hugs, and loved them, adored them. Some people, when they age, get deeper into their ruts, more rigid. Others let go, and she, in her process of moving towards the end of her life, let go of lots of stuff and got very beautiful. So, in my 4 years, 3 years on the road, I am super lonely. That is the biggest shadow part of traveling nonstop in places where you don't know anybody, with only a dog for company. And super horny. My spiritual revolutions have had a lot to do with the power of sexuality, and I've become sexually supercharged, but still have not found a partner. Don't want a monogamous partner, but haven't found anybody to get sexually close with, or even much touch at all. I have, in many occasions, projected my longing for physical closeness onto a woman, where a woman who really, really wants to be close to me, I make up a story that she's going to want physical and sexual intimacy, And, I've lost my glasses and chosen not to replace them. And I've been saying that a beauty part of that is that I've given up projecting on people because I can't see details at a distance. I don't profile people, don't make up a story about who they are and wait until I get face to face with them. And that's a beautiful thing. And it is. The exception is that I'm still capable of projecting sexuality on a woman who's moving definitely towards me. And a story I've made up that I think may be partly true is that this is God having me on a tantric path. The path of stimulating the sexuality, driving it higher, not acting on it, and letting it become a spiritual charge for your transformation. Because I get really aroused towards a woman, and when I get super close to her, I finally wake up and say, no, that's not what she wants. No, she wants a different kind of contact with me. And it's been really, really good for me to do that. The part that got filled in only in the last many months was how I make very wrong choices. I keep choosing women who are like my mother in her early years, in that the closeness they want with me does not include physical and sexual. It's true of my wife, true of Jennifer, the love of my adult life, who was a spectacular woman, but not emotionally or physically generous. So, the test case for have I cracked this one has been a little family of mom and dad and adorable 5-year-old, I think 5, maybe 7, no, I think 5, who I've had repeated visits with along the marina down in the Rio Veracruz. And then finally, the last encounter was last night here, way south in Boca del Rio, several miles south of where I knew them from. They knew my van, which was parked in the same spot along the Molle, the Naval Wharf, just next to it by the Hotel Mari Tierra. And they knew where to find me. And we had a series of, I think, 4 nightly visits that were really powerful for all of us and stimulated a series of videotapes that I titled all Right Relationship, that I was exploring how to have the right relationship with them. Now on visit, I think 3, I saw a big problem in the dad, his relationship with marijuana, and his tendency to just keep smoking until he gets seriously stupid, virtually incoherent. And when he's in that state, a tendency to suddenly turn on a bully. The bully side of him comes forward, and very specifically with regard to me, pushing for me to use more marijuana than is good for me. I'm a one-toke guy, and he wanted me to do it, and he pushed and pushed. And fortunately, I've gotten amazingly ferocious in my capacity to hold a boundary and wouldn't let him do that. But I made up a story out of that he would do that with them too. If he does it with me, he's certainly going to do it with them. At this point, really just tonight, I've gotten clear. No, it's about him and other guys. That's what will come forward in regard to other guys. I see no data to indicate that he does it with his wife or his son. The other thing I saw that night was a huge gulf in the physical intimacy between and emotional intimacy between him and her. That she does not really want to be physically close to him. So I got on fire with the story that even though they seem inseparable, I've never seen them they're always everywhere together, that she wants and needs physical and sexual intimacy with me. So I tried it out The next night when I saw them, I was on fire for her and kept trying to touch her and be physically close to her. And she kept dancing away. And by the next day, I was able to say, okay, she clearly adores you. You're kind of a father figure, and she loves you a lot and wants contact with you big time, but not physical. No, she may not be capable of that. She's lived a poor life on the streets. She's liable to be carrying physical or sexual abuse that makes that almost impossible with any guy. I had money a month ago, and I was financially generous with them. One night I took them all down to the tourist OXXO store and bought them coffee and hot chocolate for the son and for me. Then the next night I took them to the Ocho OXXO, the people's OXXO that they turned me on to, the poor person's OXXO store just a few blocks away, and bought them $200, 200 pesos worth of groceries. Turned out to be my last 200 pesos and left me poor for three weeks of the month instead of the usual 2 weeks. But it was really symbolically very important to them and to me for my willingness to give to them. And a couple of nights before, she had been cold. It turned cool on the wharf, and I gave her my favorite warm jacket to use that night. And I said, when you come back tomorrow, just put it through the door. The doors are never locked. And then, I guess by the end of that night, I got clear and said, no, keep it. I want you to have it. You just keep it. It's my gift to you. And they're big givers. Poor people are huge givers. Street people, and I bet they have been on the street at some point, huge givers, give you the shirt off their back, and they're just always swapping. Oh, you like this shirt? Take this shirt. Just do a lot of that. And we've done a lot of that, from food to clothing, and that jacket has turned out to be really important to her because it can turn cool at night here. Not really cold, but cool. So I've been gone from that neighborhood for 2 weeks. I've been up here in Boca del Rio because the beaches are here and because my car broke down here and I can't get back. And last night, I've always seen them down in the marina, and they live. And one projection I had was I thought they might be homeless because they're always out on the street at night, and that's homeless people. But no, they have an apartment. They have a 1,300 peso apartment, which is kind of going rate. And what I want to pay, I'm deciding to get one myself because I'm going to be here a while. So they're not literally homeless, but they're just always out at night and walk long. I did not know they walked long distances, but they turned up here at 11 o'clock last night in the darkness. I had been sleeping for a while and had woken up. I was awake, but there they were. I went, what are you doing here? I don't know you being up here. Well, they had missed me a lot down there by the wharf, and maybe, I guess I never heard, had they walked 2 hours up here in hopes of finding me? I bet they did. That never got said, but why else would they have been here? I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to go see the beach. But a sign that in those 2 weeks I had dried out and was back in real good clarity with her. Two things. One is she kept referring back to that jacket and how much she loves that jacket. And she had like 3 different shirts to give me, only one of which may turn out to be functional. The beautiful Abercrombie and Fitch long sleeve shirt in great condition. At the very end, I saw there was a medium. I'll probably never be able to wear it. But there was one Mexican shirt that may turn out to be really great for me. And I gave her a really nice Bluetooth Bocina speaker that I had recently paid 250 pesos for. I think it's got a pretty serious error. My bigger Bluetooth speaker has an error that I think will be easily fixed. The port where you charge it isn't working, but I bet one of these guys who repairs stuff like that can fix that for me. This one, it seems to have lost its Bluetooth capacity. It charges fine, but it doesn't communicate with my phone. She's sure she can get it working, and I think she might be wrong. But that was a treasure. When I gave her that really made her happy. And the closing thing that really summarized my getting more clear was she still gives really crappy hugs, just one shoulder in. But when I said to her, so when you put that jacket on, as she does a lot, it's like a big hug from Majo, John. And she lit up like Christmas. Yes, that's what it is. That's me wrapping myself up in your love. And I said, bingo, we did it. That's good. And then after fooling around and playing around here, they decided they better start their 2-hour trek back into the city. And it was over. And they just kept, when are you coming? When are you coming? And I said, probably I'll have my car fixed in 2 or 3 days. So I'll be seeing them back down there because I have discovered from the bus ride down, I took a bus down there Sunday afternoon, that there are other beaches, people's beaches, crowded beaches. These are not crowded when the tourists leave, because who can afford the hotels up here? No. But I saw some beaches closer to the city that actually were very jumping and real sandy beaches where you can walk the beach. So I will have beaches that are closer there, and we'll be seeing them. And we'll be sticking around Veracruz because I love Veracruz. It's the best place I've found so far in its diversity. Pretty sterile up here in Boca del Rio, but when you get into the city, it's a jumping place. Big exhale, punctuation point, sayonara, hasta la vista, baby. Descanse, sleep well. Buenas noches.